We're gonna go back on the record in 2023 CR 2172, State of Texas versus Satara Portillo. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Daniel Escobar for the state.
Joseph Staten, continuing to fill in for Mr. Hoyos.
All right. The defendant had entered a plea of true to violation of condition number 35. Do you wish to continue with your plea of true in violation of condition number 35?
Yes.
All right, the court will find violation of condition number 35 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
I discussed this with the COO, Ms. Abrams, and ADA Daniel. My client is asking to be continued. We had a recommendation that was a three-way agreement. I understand the court didn't want to follow that. I had proposed something to Daniel. I'm hoping that you would consider this. But just some background a little bit first. Her prior MTR was disposed of February 27th, 2024. But she was booked February 3rd, 2024. So from February 3rd till today, according to the clerk, it's 137 days. So she's had the equivalent of a, not court ordered, but equivalent of a 4-month jail sanction. She will admit, well, she did admit that she refused to sign conditions for inpatient. She's willing to do not just ISF, she's willing to do SAT-F. She's willing to redo all her classes. She's been in jail for quite a long time. That's her own mistake. She admits that she didn't want to sign it. Maybe she was reluctant to, but she thought that she was supposed to get out, have court, and come back and do things. And she never left the jail. And out of frustration, she didn't sign the conditions.
No, I don't think she's a good candidate for probation. She was supposed to sign the conditions. The TAP recommended inpatient treatment, and she didn't do it. So I don't think she should be continuing on probation. She was given opportunity, and counsel, as you just stated, this is not her first motion to revoke. Her previous motion to revoke was on February 27th, as you stated, and there was a violation of condition number 1. And I ordered that there be a TAP evaluation in custody to follow those recommendations. And she decided that she didn't want to follow those recommendations. I don't see how there's anything that I can do anything for her. People don't get it. You're not supposed to, when the court orders you to do something, for example, to help you by following the recommendations of TAP. TAP recommended inpatient treatment. And I know sometimes people get to talking to people at the Bexar County Jail. And when I say people at the Bexar County Jail, I mean other inmates. And they give people advice, and people want to follow the advice of an inmate, not realizing that, guess what? That person is in custody. But I made an order, and we can't do this thing where I order somebody to follow the TAP recommendations, and the TAP says inpatient, and then somebody says, I'm not signing to go to inpatient. And then what ends up happening when reality hits that your range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life, then people come before the court and they want to say, oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Now I will do inpatient treatment. So that's where we are.
And
I don't
Your
think
Honor,
she's a good candidate.
she's also willing to take a felony conviction, change it from deferred to straight probation. She's willing to do the harsher inpatient treatment program with 0 tolerance. It was a poor decision for her to not sign that. 4 months she's been in here. She's willing to sign this, willing to do this, and even add to these conditions.
I just don't think she's a good candidate. If somebody wants to argue to me why she would be a good candidate for probation, when this is her second motion to revoke, and I ordered her to follow the recommendations of the TAP evaluation, and she didn't want to follow them. But now she does, because I don't know, I guess she thought a motion to revoke would not be filed against her.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's what would result.
Oh,
I
so
thought
these are called consequences.
Well, Your Honor, also the charge itself, people who are affected with these substances may not make the best decisions in life. To prevent her from reoffending in the future, relapsing, and she's willing to do even more intensive inpatients.
But she's charged with possession with intent to deliver, and I understand that sometimes when people have possession with intent to deliver cases, sometimes they're selling because they're also using. But the amount of methamphetamine she had was 27.980 grams. I don't think probation is appropriate for her. I'm not going to continue on probation. I'm going to revoke her and find her guilty. Does anybody wish to speak to punishment?
Defense would ask for the minimum time, Your Honor, with credit for time served.
All right, I'll sentence her to 5 years in the prison. Give her credit for any time served. And I'll ask for the therapeutic community. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
But you do have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
All right. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. Thank you. You entered a plea to count 2 on May 28th of no contest. You pled true to the enhancement. The court found the enhancement true. Your range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life because it's a first-degree felony. However, according to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. The state is opposed to your application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is taking 2 causes into consideration. And then there's restitution to 6 persons and 1 entity, and that will be Circle K at Crestway. All right, there was not a PSI requested in this case. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
It's not client now. Well, actually, I have one more witness who just showed up.
Sure.
Shannon, what's your last name? No. Dell.
All right, if you'll step back here, sir. Defense, call your witness.
Shannon,
And
No.
to put him on deferred probation. Would you help him go to his appointments or do anything he had to do to comply?
Of course.
And do you have a criminal background?
No, Your Honor.
And are you addicted to any drugs?
No.
And where was he working prior to this?
He was working for, he was lifting houses and leveling out the foundation of homes.
Okay. Do you know whether or not he could get that job back?
Yes, it's waiting for him.
And as far as drug treatment, how does he address his heroin problem at this point?
He had just started using methadone prior to this.
When you say methadone, you mean a clinic?
Yes,
And you're aware of this case before you came in here today, correct?
yes.
I'm gonna pass it with Sean.
all right,
I'm sorry, man, what's your full name?
Shannon Dowdell.
So you were there when he was arrested on October 17th, 2022.
No, I was not.
You're Kim Dow, right?
Yes.
No,
Oh, in the car when we got pulled over, yes, I was the driver.
because you were there. Heroin was found on him,
It was not found on him.
found in the car.
It was not found in the car.
It was found.
The police officer had found it, on neck underneath like the passenger side on the ground.
Stepped out of the car.
No, not when he stepped out of the car. We had actually, no, it was not. Okay.
Was there marijuana found in the car?
Yes, there was.
You charged with that?
No, I was not.
And you're also aware that that Mr. Navarro is also a documented Texas Mafia member.
I heard that was his past.
That's his past.
Yes.
When did he leave that organization?
I'm not aware.
So you're not aware when he left, but you're aware that he did leave.
Yes,
No further questions, John.
That's all I have for this one, Sharon.
All right. Do you have any children?
yes, I do.
What are their ages?
25, 21, 18, 17, 10, 9, and about to be 8.
All right, you say 10, 9, and what else?
About to be 8. He'll be 8 on the 23rd of this.
All right, and do your children live with you?
Yes, they do.
All right, so you knew of Mr. Navarro's past before you started dating him?
I did, Your Honor.
All right, and so has he been living with you?
He did live with me, Your Honor.
All right,
During the time that he lived with me, he was clean. He wasn't doing any drugs. He was going to work every day. He was giving me his paycheck. When he did relapse, he was not allowed to be in my home. And that's apparently when all of this has come
so,
up.
but you knew about his past and you thought this would be a great influence for your children?
He was not on drugs when I
Now,
met him.
my question is, you knew about his past, you knew about the gang affiliation, and you thought this would be the person to bring in your children's life?
I didn't know him in his past, Your Honor, but when I had met Navarro, he was sober, he was clean, he's a great role model when he's not on drugs. My kids look up to that man very much. When he is on drugs, he does make poor decisions. I do respect the fact that he reached out to try to get help. I watched him go through that. My kids did not see any of that, Your Honor.
All right, so when you were in the vehicle with him,
Yes,
you knew there was marijuana in the vehicle?
I didn't, Your Honor.
So you didn't know about any of the drugs being in the vehicle?
No, I didn't.
All right. Any other questions?
No,
All
Your
right, thank you. Call your next witness.
Honor. My client, Your Honor, Thomas Navarro.
All right, if he can come back up. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up for me and the court reporter. If you'll state your name for the record.
Thomas Navarro?
All right, defense.
Thomas, you know why you're here today, right?
Yes, sir.
And do you have a drug problem?
Yes, sir.
And what's your drug of choice?
Heroin?
And if this judge sees fit to put you on deferred probation, will you abide by the terms and conditions, including any kind of treatment program?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of treatment were you engaging in before you were arrested for this offense?
I went to a methadone clinic.
And was that helping?
Yes, sir.
And on the day that this happened, were you still a Mexican Mafia member?
No, sir.
When did you leave that,
2014.
2014? So you're an ex-Mexican Mafia member, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And if this judge puts you on probation, do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
And what's it doing?
Leveling houses.
What?
Stone house, leveling houses
Leveling houses, okay. And who would you be living with?
with Shannon.
With who?
Shannon.
Shannon. Do you have other family here in town?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Who?
I have my brother and my mom.
Okay.
My son
And your son. Where does your son work?
at Walmart.
Are these people supportive of you?
Yes, sir.
Do you think you could complete a deferred adjudication probation without having to get revoked and come back and be sentenced?
Yes, sir.
And you understand this is a first degree felony. What could you be sentenced to in the worst case? You want to come back, do you? Yes, witness.
State.
Yes, Mr. Navarro, you admit that you were convicted of the repeat allegation, which was possession of 1 to 4 grams back in 2020.
Yes, sir.
But you also had a conviction for aggravated assault with deadly weapon in 2008. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You were sent to prison. You actually received probation, but then you were subsequently sent to prison. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions, John.
All right.
I have no questions, John.
All right, any other witnesses?
No.
Court will hear argument. State, what are you requesting?
State requested 10 years of TBC.
Defense?
We are requesting some level of deferred probation. My client has a place to stay. He has a plan to deal with his drug habit. You've heard his girlfriend come up here and tell you that she's going to help out with him. And he's also resigned from the Mexican Mafia.
Okay. All right. Mr. Navarro, I want you to know that I've heard everything that both parties have said. I've internalized everything. I've listened to the testimony, your testimony, and the testimony of the witness. I don't believe you're a good candidate for probation. As previously stated, I'm finding the enhancement true. I'm going to find you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. I request the therapeutic community. It doesn't increase the time that you're in prison. There's to be restitution to you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, did you have something you wanted to say, miss? Because you're not being a good parent to your children. You've been driving around with him in a vehicle, and I don't have the legal ability to do it, but I know if I drug tested you today, it would not come out nice. I don't know why I do not know why someone would bring a guy into their household who has all of these things going on. Guess what? If it's just you by yourself, you're an adult. Children have to go where their parents go, and they're expecting that their parents are making good decisions for them, and you are not. You and the person who's with you with their arms folded, y'all are excused. Goodbye.
You could drug test me and I am clean. I'm not from Texas.
Yeah, I think you are dirty. All right, Enrique Soriano. All right, hello.
I'm
So how are you doing?
good, good. Oh,
Well, I mean, not good because you're seeing me.
me.
How old are you?
21.
All right, so here's the question for you. You are on deferred adjudication. Do you know the range of punishment for your offense is up to 10 years up to 20 years in prison? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the question you have to ask yourself is whether or not you're continuing to use is worth going to prison for 20 years.
No, ma'am. I have another kid on the way as well.
Then why kids or baby goats?
I have another child on the way.
So why are you continuing to use
When-
drugs?
In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard, and I was clean for 3 months. Then I slipped up at a function, and then
What function is this where people are smoking marijuana?
It was just for a fight, so it was really just me, my friend, whatever.
What fight?
The one with the what's his name? Honestly, forgot, but it was a fight. I know it
So
was a
you're
fight.
going to a fight and you don't even remember the name of the fight, but that's worth you potentially going to prison for 20 years.
No, it wasn't worth it, but I just had slipped up that day. And then it takes a while for me to get clean. It took 3 months for me to actually get clean. So I slipped up then.
All right, they're asking that you go to SATA.
That one?
Yeah, they're saying that you need to go to SATA.
Oh, what is that? I'm not.
That's inpatient treatment.
I don't think, because I know I could stop. I stopped for those 3 months. Like I said,
Yeah,
I
but
just
you didn't do
slipped up.
well. I mean, you're stopping for 3 months and you're looking at going to prison for 20 years and then you continue to use. This states the defendant admits he is addicted to marijuana.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, in the first year, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard, but I finally stopped doing it. Like I said, I just slipped up. I thought it wasn't really gonna be, like it was gonna stay in my system for that long, because it wasn't a lot, but then it's like. I
Because you
said,
thought you would get away with it.
not get away with it, but I thought I'd just get it out of my system.
Yeah, that's you thinking you would get away with it. If you're thinking it's going to get out of your system before you test it. When you drug tested today, what the result's going to be?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I still come out a little bit dirty. Like I said, it took almost 3 months for me. When I actually stopped doing drugs, it took 3 months because I was on my PO set. I finally came out clean.
Your Honor, may I,
Yes.
the last drug test that was done on 4/25 was positive for THC.
And do we have levels? Or no?
I can check it, Your Honor. So the only issue with that, Your Honor, is he was negative on his drug test on the 5th of April. Actually, he failed to submit. I'm sorry. He failed to submit on the 5th of April, March 14th. But in February, he was negative. So we won't have a baseline. I'll have a baseline, but I won't have any other information on the others.
All right, so this is what I want to do with him. He's going to do weekly testing and it's going to be through the UA hotline. He's to be tested for levels. If those levels go up, we're not going to have another compliance hearing. It's going to be a motion to revoke filed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to want him to retake intensive outpatient treatment. And if it's not ordered, I did order parenting classes. Have you completed
Yes,
parenting
ma'am.
classes? You didn't learn anything from it?
I did. I mean, I don't do it. It's not like I do it in front of my kid or like do it in the house.
A kid is a baby
Oh,
goat.
my child.
Well, here's the thing. The fact that you're doing it outside your house, you can't tell me that you don't come back into the house smelling like marijuana.
Oh,
Let me just tell you right now, I don't drink alcohol at all, but there is someone who came in this courtroom who smelled of alcohol. I don't know who it was, but it nearly knocked me out.
yes, ma'am.
So the fact that you are using marijuana, your child knows that you're using marijuana. And guess what? Children are going to end up teasing them because they're going to come to wherever they come to smell like marijuana. And if you have a child that's on the way, I guarantee you that mother is probably using marijuana, messing up her baby's brain. And when marijuana is used in the household, it messes with the baby's brain development. These are critical years and critical times for infants. Their brains are developing. They're soaking up everything. That's why they're super intelligent. When children use profanity, they get that from their parents or whoever's around them because they repeat everything. The fact that you're using marijuana, whether you think they know it or not, they do. And you're going to send your child off to school smelling like marijuana so other children can choose them about their pothead parent. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to get your life together. If those levels go up, what's going to end up happening is a motion to revoke is going to be filed, and you're going to be looking at 20 years in prison, and you're going to be possibly going to prison for 20 years. And people ask you why you're here, you're going to end up having to tell them because you wouldn't stop using marijuana. Your time in prison wasn't worth you giving it up, and your children were not worth you giving it up. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And stop having children until you get your life together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so he's going to retake IOP as well. Is there anything else you need from the
No, ma'am.
court? And don't go into any more fights, especially if you don't know the name of the people.
Yes, ma'am.
And honestly, boxing hasn't been great since Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali. People don't even have skills anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
State of Texas versus Jonathan Keith Yost. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Richard Getta for the state.
Defense?
Cornelius Cox.
Are you Mr. Yost? All right. So in this case, the court was presented with a lot of exhibits, and those exhibits include these two notebooks. The court did review those once the court was made aware from both parties that this was going to be a plea that was going to be entered. Any objections to the court having reviewed the two notebooks, one being black, one being white? State?
None from the state.
Defense?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Yost? Okay. All right, counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Yost, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, sir.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're proceeding on counts 1, 2, and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Yost, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court's Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes,
Did you understand in each count, you're charged with the offense of theft over $300,000? Well, theft over $300,000 and money laundering over $300,000. Did you understand?
Yes.
All right, each of those counts are first-degree felonies. The range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison with a possible fine up to $10,000. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Yost, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to end this plea? Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 20 years in the prison. The state makes no recommendation for a fine. There are no applications. There's to be restitution to Dr. Ashok, ASHOK, Tholpady, THOLPADY, in the amount of $400,000, and there's to be no contact. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense?
Sure.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
Clear.
Then to count one in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Count two, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, the state offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments. No objection.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Wavering Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty in count 1 and guilty in count 2. This will come back for a PSI on August 24th. Mr. Yost, at that time, the court will make a decision on your sentencing based upon the PSI report I received back and any other evidence that's presented to me. Do you understand? Oh, it's a pre-sentence investigation report. Basically what it is, it will show me what your criminal history is. It may have statements in it from the complainant, statements maybe from yourself, and any other information about you. And then I'll base my decision upon that and also any other evidence that's presented to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Yost, just so you know, I will receive the PSI report, but I don't review the PSI report before both the state and defense have had a chance to review it and let me know if they have any objections to it. So I'll review it after that point. All right.
If I may,
Yes.
with the, with my client's bond status.
Mhm.
His bond was set, very high, and the problem is that it's not that he was trying to buy out. The issue is that because of the high bond,
Mhm.
he's locked down for
Mhm.
23 hours.
Okay.
And we're asking the court, if the court, even if the court remanded him without, then I think he will go back to general population. We just want him in general population, so he's not locked down 23 hours.
Well, that can be accomplished by one or two ways. One, if you want the court to remand him without bond, I'll remand him without bond. If both of you all would like for me to contact the sheriff's department and say, what is the reason for his lockdown? Is his lockdown because of the high bond or something else? Then the court can look into that.
Okay, that'll be fine. If we can get him in regular population, that's always
Okay.
GP.
All right. So if both parties are okay with the court asking the sheriff's department why he's in lockdown,
I'm okay with that, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's a bond.
okay. All right. So I'll talk to them today. I'll put that on my to-do list.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.